Okay, today we're going to talk about installing VMware Player on a Windows machine. As you can see right now, I have on a Windows machine. So go ahead and open a browser in your Windows machine and just go to the VMware website, or you can easily Google download VMware Player. And as you can see here, it says that it's a free in my VMware or download my VMware. It doesn't matter. You can go to either of them. I'm going to click on the first one. It says free VMware Player. Here is here actually VMware products, and you should be able to find a VMware Player from this list. Just take a look at all the options that you have here. And like VMware Fusion, we have VMware Workstation Player, and we have Workstation Pro. Just click on the VMware Workstation Player on the download product, and we have version 14 for Windows machines, and we have version 14 for Linux machines. I'm going to click on the Windows one for now, and there is no need for logging to a VMware website for VMware Player or VMware Workstation Player, and you can easily download the file directly from VMware website. So let's give it some time. It's just going to be 10 seconds, and after that we can install VMware Player. Actually, I'm not on a Windows machine. I'm on my Mac laptop, and I just connected from my Mac to my Windows machine. It's an RDP connection. That's why you may see these icons down here. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to click on the VMware Player, and the installation is pretty straightforward. And let's run the application. And you will see this security warning. It's okay, just click on the run. Waiting for the application to actually running. Okay, so you'll see this VMware product installation page. Just give it some time, and we have to wait until this menu finish actually, and then you'll reach this page. It says welcome to VMware Workstation. This is the version number and player, and just go ahead and click next here, read the license agreement and accept it. And the place that you are going to install a VMware Player, it's in C drive, program files x86 in VMware folder and the VMware Player folder. There is one check mark here. It says enhanced keyboard driver. A reboot will require to use this feature, and this feature also requires 10 megabyte on your host drive. So it's going to be better in terms of using your keyboard. So I'm going to select this one, but this one is optional. Hit next. If you want to get any updates, we can keep this one. And if you want to send any customer experience to the VMware, you can also keep this one. Hit next. And shortcuts for the VMware Player on the desktop and the start menu. If you want to have the shortcuts, just leave them as it is. Hit next, and ready to install. Go ahead and click on install. So it is pretty straightforward, the installation process. It's just next, finish. After this, we'll go to the software and just check how the software will work, and just give it a try, at least very basic understanding of the VMware Player. So at the very end, you can see this page, and there's a license here. If you click on the license, you can see it is asking for the license, but you can skip and leave this field blank for non-commercial use. So don't forget this. If you want to use VMware Workstation Player for non-commercial use, you can use it without a license. Otherwise, you need to provide a license. So I'm going to click skip here and finish. and you will see this page, and you need to reboot your Windows machine. So I'm going to click on yes to reboot the Windows machine. Okay, my Windows machine is back now. I'm going to again try to connect to my Windows machine through the RDP. Just trying to negotiate the credentials, and I'm just providing my username and password. You may see a blank page for now. And here we are in our Windows machine. So this is the page that we were working on the Google Chrome. This is the icon that you will see in your desktop, which says VMware Workstation 14, or in your start menu you can find this one. Just go ahead and double click on the VMware Workstation. At the very beginning it may ask you again about the license stuff. So if you are using as a non-commercial, go ahead and click continue. Otherwise you need to provide the license. And here is the VMware Workstation Player menu. It is pretty straightforward. I mean, the installation part and working with this VMware Workstation Player software, it's really easy. You have a bunch of options here. As you can see, it says create a new virtual machine, open a virtual machine, upgrade to VMware Workstation Pro or Professional. So with VMware Workstation Professional, you can have advanced features like snapshots, virtual network management, and some other settings which they're really good. But you need to have a license for VMware Workstation Professional. And here it will also ask you for update to VMware Workstation Pro, which I'm going to skip it for now. And just let's see how would be the for example, create a new virtual machine menu. You can use this one for create a new virtual machine, and there's some other options here. If you click up here on the player, you can see there are a bunch of stuff here, and the file, there's a new virtual machine, which is the same thing. Also here we have open, which is the open virtual machine. So here open virtual machine, or create a new virtual machine. Here in the player you also have a new virtual machine and open virtual machine, which is exactly matching to these two terms. Another one which is you cannot see it here in the, let's say, home page or first page of the VMware Player, is download virtual appliance. And if you click on this one, it will redirect you to VMware website, and it is a place that you can download VMware appliances. It's like App Store. It's like Google Play, for example, and you can download different appliances and import them directly into the VMware Player. But anyway, for just purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to show you how would be the menu in the create a new virtual machine, and that's it. So click on the create a new virtual machine. So click on this one, and it will ask you for the media that you want to install your operating system. So you are going to create a new virtual machine. Definitely you want to install an operating system on top of this software. So you can provide the media like an ISO image or installer disk if you have any. So you can provide it right now, and the VMware Player can recognize your operating system. I mean, most of the time it can recognize, and based on the operating system in that you have in your media or in your ISO file, then it will create the appropriate virtual machine for you. So if you have any image, you can browse it here and you can show the path of the image. If you don't have, there's no problem right now. You can say I will install the operating system later and click on next. Here you can choose your operating system, and we have a bunch of virtual operating systems here in which we can install in this virtual machine. From the Microsoft family operating system, Windows 10 and Windows Server 2016 is the latest one as the time that I'm currently recording these videos. And then the Linux side also we have Red Hat and different flavor of the Linux. And as you can see, there are a lot of stuff here. even Novel Network, Solaris, and other operating system if you want to install anything here. So for example, I'm going to select Microsoft Windows 10 64-bit and hit next. Here you can just provide the name of your virtual machine. Let's say Windows, I'm saying Windows 10 or Win10, and here is the path that you want to save this virtual machine. Hit next. The maximum disk size of the virtual machine by default is showing 60 gigabytes. Let's change this one to 100 gig as a virtual hard disk, and here it is saying that you want to store the virtual hard disk of this virtual machine as a single file, or you want to split it into multiple files. So what is the benefit of splitting into multiple files? You can read it here, but it says splitting the disk makes it easier to move. If you remember, and if you've ever worked with the RAR file, so you can split, or zip file, doesn't matter, you can split a very, very large file to multiple smaller files, and you can easily copy them over to another place because there are multiple files in the size of less. Instead of copying a huge file, you can start copying smaller files, and to be able to transfer your file easily. But anyway, we don't want to transfer anything here, so I'm going to select store virtual disk as a single file. Otherwise you will see multiple virtual hard disks file. Go ahead and click on next, and the rest is just a summary of your virtual machine, and you can always go to the customized hardware, and your virtual machine has 2 gigabyte of memory, 1 processor, 1 CD or DVD, for example, which you can use it as an ISO file also. So the network adapter, USB controller, sound card, printer, and display. I usually remove sound card because my virtual machine, I don't use it for lab environment. Also printer, I don't use this one too. And you can always increase the memory based on your hardware capabilities, and also the processor. For example, I like to change this one to 4, and you can also enable virtualization if you need any. So go ahead and click close and finish. And now we have one virtual machine here. You can easily from here play the virtual machine, or from this side, or even you can right click on it and set and click on power on. So this is completely like a bare metal machine. You can start it. Right now it's saying that it cannot find anything in a virtual device. I don't care right now. This is the USB connection to our virtual machine. Doesn't matter right now. And there is something called VMware Tools, which when you start working with the VMware products or any virtualization software, usually, as I talk about it in the virtualization concept, usually there's this tiny software that you should install, this tiny software inside your virtual machines or inside your guests' machines, in order to be able to communicate better between host and guests. And also, you know that when you're installing a virtual machine, the operating system has to recognize the drivers inside that virtual machine. So in order to be able to recognize and detect drivers, it needs a software, tiny software like a VMware Tools, to understand, for example, what is the hard disk, what is the network adapter. These are all virtual stuff, right? They are virtual hardwares. We don't have any network adapters for this virtual machine. It's a virtual adapter, actually. We don't have any hard disk. It's a virtual hard disk. So you need to install the VMware Tools inside your guest or inside your virtual machine in order to be able for your operating system inside your virtual machine to understand how to interact with these virtual hardware. So you can download and install this one right now, or you can remind yourself later. And as you can see, because we don't have any operating system mounted to this virtual machine, we went to this menu for boot sequence of selecting the boot device, which it could be network or hard disk or whatever you want to use. So this is the way that you can create a virtual machine and start working with this virtual machine. So my suggestion is just start playing with the VMware Player and start going through the different menus and see what options do you have here and what kind of stuff you have. You can go around and take a look at different options, but one of the important one which we mostly use is here in the manage and virtual machine settings, which it will go back to this menu. It is the customized hardware, and you can start working with these options here. And one of the important thing is this CD and DVD, which you can use the ISO image file here, browse it, and reboot your virtual machine and start installing your operating system inside the VMware Player. For example, a Windows 10 ISO image, and you can mount it here, you can browse it here, and you can start installing the Windows 10 here in your Windows 10 virtual machine. Actually, before finishing this lecture, I would like just show you something, and that's it. So if I open this page here, which is a network and sharing center inside the control panel, and click on change adapter settings, there are a bunch of stuff here, but I would like to specifically talk about these two: VMware Network Adapter VMnet 1 and VMware Network Adapter VMnet 8. So when you're installing VMware products like VMware Player or VMware Workstation Pro, you will see these network adapters here in your computer, in your host. So these are not physical network adapters. We don't have any physical adapters. So don't look at the other interfaces. The rest, forget about the other ones. And imagine that you have a network adapter on your laptop. This is the network adapter on my laptop, and this is the wireless adapter. So that's it. The rest they are just virtual adapters. This is my Bluetooth. The other one is for my VPN connection, and this is my loopback adapter, which I don't care right now, and the other one is related to the another virtualization software. So ignore the other one, but look at here. These two interfaces, they are here because we've just installed VMware Player on this machine. So VMware Player use these network adapters, these virtual adapters, for transmitting network packets to different networks, like the local host or other networks to the external world. So I just want to mention this one, and that's it. And I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and see you in the next one.